you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Okay, so it's another summer, and you know what that means. For the third year in a row, I've decided that I'm going to snatch games off of my shelf on a daily basis through the run of this summer, and I'm going to tell you about them. This, ladies and gentlemen, is year 3 of the summer of 8-Bit. And we're going to start with a Capcom title, because Capcom did a good thing during the 8-Bit years. Their run on the NES was pretty much some of the best action titles they ever made. And that's saying a lot, because Capcom's done some of the best action games ever made, period. But in particular, this is one of their Disney titles. And probably the most unlikely of their Disney titles to be considered a truly great game. This one was a film that was based on a film that was more geared towards girls. But, you know, a good game transcends those kind of gender lines. So this game was just as much fun to myself and any other guy who played it as it was for any girl who played it growing up. It's from 1991, and I've heard it described in a really interesting way in the past, and I'm going to explain that to you in a sec. Today's game is Disney's The Little Mermaid. Okay, so this game takes place after the events of the film. Ariel is getting ready to marry Eric, and she receives word that Ursula has taken over the ocean and basically cast a spell on all the fish in the ocean and basically turn them evil. So to defeat Ursula and stop the creatures in the ocean from going batty, Ariel tells Eric she has to go back. She turns back into a mermaid and heads to the ocean. And that's where our adventure starts. Now, this game is primarily it's a side scroller, and it plays, like I said, I've heard it described as a combination of Bubble Bobble and R-Type. And that's a really weird combination, but it's really apt when you play The Little Mermaid, because Ariel, her primary attack turns lesser creatures encapsulates them in bubbles and makes them projectiles, just what you do in Bubble Bobble. And there are also these items that you pick up along the way, most notably conch shells, that you pick up and you can hold in front of you to kind of attack enemies in a battering ram type fashion and throw them forward and above you to attack enemies in those directions, like the options that fly in front of your ship on R-Type. There are also a number of power-ups that will give your bubble powers the ability to encapsulate larger enemies, things like that. Animation-wise, this game is superb. Graphically, this game is superb. It's what you would expect from Capcom in 1991. Around the time of Mega Man 3, a little bit after Rescue Rangers and DuckTales, around that time frame. So this was a quintessential Capcom title. It just, like I said, came from pretty unlikely source material. But again, it's a Disney title. Capcom's best 8-bit work that wasn't Mega Man were those Disney tie-ins, and there's no one who will argue that point. But as far as finding a copy of Little Mermaid, make sure if you're going to play one of the games based on a Little Mermaid that you do get the NES version, because it's the most solid version of anything based on that film game wise. The Genesis game is okay. Never played the Master System version because it wasn't released in America, nor did I play the Game Boy version. But this game, Capcom's Little Mermaid game, is a superb video game. And it's one of the better titles on the NES with a female protagonist. So that's another awesome notch in its belt. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find a copy. Let me see. This one was like $6. You can probably find a copy a little bit cheaper on eBay or around that price. You shouldn't pay more than $10 for this game. If you do, you've gotten ripped off. This has been 8-Bit Animal. I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow.